Have you ever had a boss who'd rather die than admit they're wrong? Back in the dark ages of retail, when Black Friday meant you actually drove to malls and stores, I was working the floor trying to keep customers from fighting. About an hour after opening the store doors, a 4.2 earthquake went through the area. It knocked a few stuff off the shelves, but nothing serious. Everyone stopped for a second, then went right back to shopping. That's when I noticed the crack spreading across the ceiling right above all the checkout lines, and getting paid $6 an hour wasn't really worth the risk, so I flagged down my manager Karina and pointed up at the crack. I think we need to evacuate. She got angry without so much as a glance at what I was pointing at. This is our biggest sales day of the year and you're here doing what? I tried explaining. The ceiling's cracking, but she rolled her eyes. These buildings are designed for earthquakes. Get back to your duties right now or you're fired. So I walked off and tried to shake the paranoia away. But 15 minutes went by and the crack only got wider. Like a you could stick a finger in type of wide. Dust and bits of ceiling were falling on customers' heads like chalk. One lady tried complaining about it, but Karina told her it was just the old building settling and nudged her into a shorter cashier line. While she was busy, I snuck off to the back of the store and took a picture from my flip phone and sent it to my brother who's a contractor. His response was pretty clear. Get everyone out now. I started passing around the message to my coworkers one by one, watching them look up at the ceiling and completely panic. Karina saw us and stormed over. Put that phone away or you're terminated immediately. All of you. Just then, the ceiling started making creaking sounds that made us all back up towards the walls. I watched a tile slowly hang loose like it was about to fall and saw another chunk of plaster fall and barely miss an elderly lady, while another small piece bounced off and scratched a kid's arm. The security guard walked up to Karina and said, "That don't look safe." Karina's face stiffened. "Get back to work." She walked towards the intercom and put in a sickeningly bright professional voice. "Attention associates, keep those lines moving. This is a record sales day." But even some of the customers started glancing up and looking afraid. That's when a huge piece of the ceiling crashed down and shattered a TV display, right as the crack split in 3 directions like lightning. I made eye contact with the security guard and he nodded at me. I ran to the wall, smashed the glass case and pulled the fire alarm. The alarm started blaring and the sprinklers went off. Customers started rushing out, a few even choosing to take items they planned on buying out the door. One guy even managed to run out with an entire microwave in his arms. Karina came absolutely charging at me, screaming, "What have you done, you peasant?" She grabbed my arm hard. "You're paying for all this lost merchandise. You'll be in so much debt even your grandkids will be working for me." She let me go and tried to block the exit. "It's a false alarm. It's fine. Keep shopping." The security guard had to physically move her aside. People were pushing and shoving to get out. One little girl cried on the side, lost in the crowd until a kind soul picked her up and hurried out. I stopped to help an elderly woman who'd fallen in the rush. We were the last group running out, and the rumbling sound from above was getting louder. Everyone made it outside, and we turned around just as we heard the crash. The entire building crumbled from the center outwards. The sound of the alarm stopped just as the building collapsed. At first, the debris in the air covered the site, but once it cleared, everyone was quiet. But I was sure we were thinking the same thing. Another second later, and we would have been crushed and buried with the foundation. I was explaining everything to the fire chief when we heard another massive collapse, a secondary one where the rest of the building had collapsed in even more. Karina was still trying to defend herself to the police, saying that she had no idea, but the fire chief shut her down immediately. "Ma'am, we heard about what happened from the other employees." "Well, they're liars and jealous of my position," she rebutted. "And we heard from the customers about how you tried to keep everyone inside. You had at least 20 minutes of people warning you." The inspectors on the scene contacted the company, who was very, very angry with the things they heard. Turns out Karina had ignored company protocol that required immediate evacuation and inspection after any seismic activity. Corporate reviewed the security footage and saw everything. Karina was fired that same day and charged with reckless endangerment. I got promoted to assistant manager at a different location, and Karina became a cashier under me, the peasant.